It's 6 o'clock. If you'll join me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have a moment of silence, please, for men and women in uniform and those who are fighting this pandemic. Thank you. We'll call this meeting to order at 1 minute after 6. We have no adjustments to the agenda, correct, Joe?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. We'll start on general government, selectmen. Joe, you want to address the changes you suggested?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. On page 3, in the consultant services line, which is 3528, based on information received at the last budget meeting and follow-up conversation with the board last night about the section of our personnel policy that relates to wage adjustments, I am recommending to the select board that they undergo, or the town undergo, a third-party independent salary survey so that we're consistent with Article 21, the personnel policy. So I had reached out to Georgianne in the town of Bridgeton. She had been looking for something like that recently, and it caught my eye. So she gave us some names. Rebecca followed up and got us a budget number of 8,000 for that. Full disclosure, the 8,000 covers all municipal employees, including the union folks. That's something the board may want to talk about. It would be a number less than that, just for the non-union folks. But so 3528 has that amount of money plugged into it, Mr. Chairman, with the recommendation that the select board do a formal salary survey in fiscal year 22.
Thank you. Any questions? Shelley?
So I had a couple of taxpayers that approached me when they heard we were looking at doing the salary survey and that it was going to be about $8,000. They were wondering why Anna Lee wouldn't be doing that, where we already pay her for services.
Joe?
That's ultimately a board decision, Mr. Chairman. Given the conversations I've had in the last couple of weeks, my recommendation is it's a third-party independent person that is going to look at this with fresh eyes.
Cindy, did you have your hand up? I'm sorry, I just picked my head up. No. Ethan, anything? Ethan, you're on mute.
I said, I think it needs to be done. Unfortunately, it costs money to do this now and then. But I know it's fairly common practice in a lot of industries. So I think it is what it is.
To Shelley's point, we do have Anna Lee on retainer. The question is, do we add more to her list right now with the union negotiations, or I'd like to hear Cindy's thoughts on that.
I did think where she's an existing resource, it'd be worth reaching out, but I would, I guess it'd matter on how soon we wanted it. I guess we're looking at this as an adjustment for next year. Annalie's very busy this time of year with other union negotiations going on, not only ours. So I don't think she'd be available till, later on. I think it's worth asking just because she's an existing resource. But I would really want someone to devote some good time to this and for the board and and for Joe to feel good about the results. So
Thank you. David, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, doesn't make much difference to me, I guess. I don't know what you're gonna find out really. But I guess we just go ahead with it, I guess. I think we already know pretty much what the pay scales are.
Shelley, how do you feel about Annalee versus independent?
Well, I think that no matter what, we have to still put it out there for, a bid for it, but I think that we should ask her what her cost would be as well. I mean, where we already have an established relationship with her. I mean, we can tell them exactly what we want to know. And that's what I think we need to do, is get together with Joe and actually itemize out everything. If we're looking at benefits and we're looking at everything all at once.
Okay. I'd like to leave Annalee doing what she's doing right now, knowing the workload and the amount of time that's going into this in terms of the union negotiation. Secondly, I have had some reservations prior to this. Regardless of that, I would like to see an independent source do this so that we can get it done in a timely fashion. Third party, which Annalee clearly is, but and I would also like the Board of Selectmen to schedule some time where we can discuss what we're looking for and then run it by town manager, et cetera, because what Cindy and I have recently seen is not indicative of what I would be very comfortable presenting to the town of Rangeley. That being said, Joe, do you want a motion from us in terms of a independent survey tonight? Or do we have time to get this on our 15th meeting?
Mr. Chair, you could put it on your 15th meeting. My guess is that even though the town does have an existing consultant that we work with, there probably would be an added fee, even if you did go with that person or that firm. I think at this point, I would recommend to the board placing the $8,000 in there for the independent salary survey. And as Selectman Lowell noted, we would solicit proposals from hopefully at least 3 firms that do this type of thing. So I think it would be appropriate and also a gesture, a good gesture for all of us to put it in the budget if we could.
Rebecca, you had your hand up? No? Okay. Anything from the, we'll start off with Denise. Do you have any input? Denise? Etna?
Just quickly, does MMA no longer do salary surveys?
Go ahead, Joe.
Mr. Chair, MMA does still provide that service. It's a framework. The towns in the state are actually the entities that input the information into the spreadsheet through MMA. What I have kind of seen with that is sometimes you get misleading information. Sometimes, so for instance, if you have a public works director that's a road commissioner, they'll put in each column the entire salary. So you're not always getting the accurate picture. And the other thing that I've noticed, I'm chuckling because I attempted to do one of these very quickly after the last meeting, and I was looking through the material, and you'll have 50 towns with no entries, and then you'll have a couple of towns, and then trying to figure out which towns actually would be acceptable to the board as comparable towns, as comps. The information that's there is probably not adequate. It is a good resource for certain things, and I did think to go there first. After that's a very good idea, but I just think for the level of seriousness of this issue, to me, I think we should probably have a third party look at it.
Okay. We have one more person on the line, and it's a 491 number 6076. Who is that? Does anybody know who that is?
I think it's Marty calling in. as the finance assistant.
Okay. All right. So members of the budget committee tonight are Denise and Ethna. And, oh, there's Kyle. Kyle, do you have any input on this? Thank you.
I do not.
Okay. Good. I'd like to see technology at the top of Allen Street working well. I see you both there. The same house. That's fabulous. All right. So relative to the selectmen's budget, any more questions regarding the totals on the selectmen line? Okay. Before we go any farther, folks, I need to tell you, I have to be at my house by 8 o'clock tonight. I have some personal matters I have to take care of. Came up today, my apologies, but Cindy is here. So if I have to leave prior to us being finished, the vice chair can carry on. Shelley, go ahead.
So are we planning on adding $8,000 to that line? Are we looking to do all of the employees? Or are we looking to do?
Joe, I think you explained, well, say again, Joe, what your thoughts are on that.
So this quote covers all of the municipal employees. And it's a very good question. At this point, the ones that the policy affects are the non-union folks. That's kind of what's in front of us right now. We could probably have all kinds of sidebars about the merits of or the importance of having everyone done, but I think right now to cover the policy and to address the issues raised recently, I would recommend focusing on the non-union employees at this point. The number is less than 8,000. Rebecca, did they give you any indication how much less it may be when you spoke with them?
No, after our conversation, I just gave them the total employee list. So, I mean, obviously it'll be less, but I'm not sure exactly how much less. And just so you guys know, it was remarkable what they dig into in regards to this. It's not just a salary survey. They look at all kinds of stuff. It was pretty awesome.
Further questions? Yes, Shelley?
So yeah, I'm fine with putting 8,000 in, but take out the fireworks. Because I don't know with COVID this year, if we are gonna be able to have that huge celebration. And then we can
Sure,
just carry
carryover,
over
correct?
what we had for fireworks.
The fireworks are a carryover, correct?
Mr. Chair.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, some are carried over from this year. There's an additional amount in the budget for fiscal year 22 proposed for fireworks. The vote of the board, since I've been here a few months ago, probably in Halloween time, was to postpone again the fireworks from July 3rd and then amalgamate or add those funds to next year's funds. You could reverse that, but that is the vote that the board has taken.
Ethan?
I don't want to change anything to do with the fireworks. I'm going to be hopeful. Vaccinations are supposed to roll out by every adult per the president by the end of, May or something. So no, I want to leave the money where it's at. It's been voted upon. Let's move on.
Cindy?
Yeah, I just, if we're looking to cut 8,000 elsewhere, then we can address that as we move through the budget. But if we need to adjust that bottom line to 101,153, then I suggest we move it and then look to cut down the road.
David?
I suggest we have the fireworks, for one thing, and then get the money someplace else for this 8,000, see if we can find 8,000 someplace else, I guess.
Okay, I guess everybody, now let me hear from Denise. Ethna?
I'm of the mindset that if it can be adjusted somewhere else, I don't know that I would necessarily suggest the fireworks because I'm quite hopeful that we will have a fireworks show this year. But as I would have to agree with Cindy that if it can be adjusted somewhere else in the budget, that maybe we take a serious look at that.
Okay, Kyle, how do you feel about that?
I feel the same way. I think if we can get it elsewhere, then let's go on that road, I guess.
Okay, I think it's a consensus then, although it's a good suggestion by Shelley in order to find the money for this thing, but I'm in agreement with the fireworks. Let's be hopeful that we're in control of COVID, or the powers that be are in control of COVID. So right now, this line is at 101, 153, correct?
No.
Can I speak?
No, no, just one second. Cindy had her hand up for, Joe, you're shaking your head no, is that not correct?
93, 153.
I believe the total is 93,153, Mr. Chair.
Well, that's what I was trying to say earlier, but, so that has the number in it, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So the number
So
right
the
now is 93,153 with the addition of $8,000. Cindy, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I guess that's what there are a couple of things. If that includes it, then fine, we can move the 93,153. But I think, just to clarify, what I think Shelley was trying to say is that we're not going to have fireworks for July 3rd, but if we've got funds that can be carried forward from last year, and Rebecca, I'm sure Rebecca can comment on whether that's appropriate in that category or not, then we don't need to raise it. I think that's what Shelley was trying to say.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
It's
what
not
I
to-
was saying. 'Cause I
It's
thought-
not to
I thought the
cancel
money was already
fireworks,
there,
but
'cause we
the
didn't have
money's
the
already
money.
there.
okay, you're talking over each other, girls. Cindy, are you all done with that?
Yeah,
Okay, Shelley?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say. The money, if it's already been raised for this year, then I don't understand why we wouldn't just use the money this year rather than raise more money to double fireworks on that end.
Okay,
I'm not saying go without the fireworks. I'm saying that just move that money going forward
right,
with no extra.
okay. Somebody else was asking a question. Was that you, Ethna?
No, Steve, sorry.
Okay. Ethna, is there a way I can get you a video of you so I can, or are you calling in?
I opt out of the video.
Okay. Denise, are you with us yet? All right, I'm hoping you can hear us. I know you called in on, and I haven't heard the furnace kick on, so I love you, Denise. I'm not picking on you. All right, so you want to vote on this one tonight and move it forward at 93,153?
so moved.
Thank you, Cindy.
Second,
Ethan, thank you. I'll ask the Board of Selectmen to say aye. Ethan,
aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Shelley,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
and I say aye, 5-0. We don't have a quorum. Oh, we do. Pardon me. Well, if Denise chimes in, we do. How do you feel about it, Kyle?
I vote in favor of it, the 93,153.
Ethan? Excuse me, Ethna?
Yes, in favor.
Okay. Denise, are you there yet? Somebody
I'm
just texted.
here.
Oh, God bless you. Did you hear all the dialogue?
I did.
Okay, are you in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. Very good. Administration, Joe?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next item on page 4 is administration. There are some items pending pursuant to section 4B of my employment contract. I don't know if the board is ready to discuss this item tonight, or if you want to table it.
What's your feeling, folks? Cindy? I saw your hand go up.
Yeah, well, I thought we agreed for Joe, whatever salary increases were going to go in effect for the other town employees, we were going to honor that request of Joe's as well.
We did do a straw poll on that. That's correct. Yep. So for the purposes of filling in the budget committee, are there any questions for Cindy or the rest of us? Do you understand what was just said? You good, Kyle?
Yes.
Ethna?
Yes.
Denise?
yeah,
Okay. So the motion here would have to be commensurate with whatever we collectively come up with for the increase. Is that correct? Yes, Cindy?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what Joe has built in here already for the manager line, because it's different than what it was in the last budget.
I can talk.
Last,
Yeah.
that'd be good.
Sorry, let me talk about that, Mr. Chairman. I guess I'll start with that. So based on input I got at the last budget meeting and since, no offense, but I'm going to mute that person. What I am proposing across all salary lines, including this budget here, is a 2.3% increase. Now that's COLA, which is 1.3 plus 1%. That's the first item. The second item we've already actually discussed, which is the need for salary survey. So salary survey will allow me to, once it's done in accordance with policy, I'll be able to calculate and distribute merit raises for the folks that are entitled to them or have earned them, I should say. So the answer to the question is this represents a 2.3% increase over the year that we're in currently.
Cindy, you had your hand up?
So Joe, that means that there wouldn't be anything additional put into the general reserve that, like you talked about before, since the salary surveys would be ineffective for the next fiscal year. Is that right?
Essentially, yes, that's correct.
And so, forgive me, I haven't, so have you adjusted the 3-1 budget and taken out that extra that you wanted into the general reserve?
I believe so.
Okay, I'm just going to make a note to check that. Sorry, I didn't have a chance to follow up. I just didn't understand that number in the far right. So 1.3% COLA, a general 1% merit, and then next year we'll be able to honor the policy and we'll have the salary survey, et cetera. Am I understanding correctly?
That's my proposal. I'm phrasing it as COLA plus 1% across the board. Merit is something that is related to performance evaluations. This is for all non-union staff. And then the salary survey would be part 2 of my proposal, which you have already agreed to do.
Shelley, you had your hand up?
Hang on, let me. Yeah, so there are merits in here too, other than the 2.3?
No,
There's not?
no.
Okay.
David?
So if I look,
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
Okay.
Shelley.
so if I look at line 0102 under wages, so if I do that times 2.3%, that is 48,000 $291.73.
Correct. That's a good catch, actually. And I had made that note, actually in a budget down the line to bring up with you, because I had anticipated you would skip this one. So the explanation for that is the non-union staff got, in the last year, I believe, a 97 cent per hour across the board increase. The folks that were on staff at that time got that amount of money. So that did not show up in the 2021 budget because it was dispersed during the year. It shows up now in the 2022 budget because it is now part of that base salary. So it's the base plus 2.3. And I did intend to point that out to you. Like I said, I had made a note on the next, on page 9. I had expected to skip this section.
The notes on page 9.
I had made the note to myself to explain that difference. So that difference is going to be in every non-union salary line. Now, not all of them. There are 2 that weren't in their seats. There are 2 folks that didn't get it, but there are all other non-union folks got what equates to 97 cents per hour last year.
In addition to the 2% that was given out, I guess this is the first we're hearing about it, Joe, so I'm clueless.
Oh, sorry about that. So so I would assume, Rebecca, maybe you can answer that. Was there 2% on top of that last year?
Actually, I think it was more than 2, whatever COLA was last year. And then the prior town manager asked for $15,000 in general reserve to do merit increases. And instead of, all due respect, instead of following the policy and do it as a merit increase for evaluations, it was split evenly across all non-union employees except for those 2.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Questions?
Yeah, so I'm kind of confused here. So they're asking for a 2.3% raise. Then there's possibly a merit raises on top of that, I guess, if I understand it right.
So, Mr. Chair, my proposal is to forego the merit raises this year while we work on the salary survey. The salary survey is a critical part of how we move forward as a group. There's no question about it. So in order to be compliant with the policy, that's an ingredient that we all need, or I certainly need to be have in the mix for following the policy. So the proposal again is COLA, which is 1.3 plus 1% across the board for non-union folks, non-union employees. A salary survey take place as soon as we can after this budget passes, and then through the policy process, look at merit increases for folks after that. And again, merit is not a guaranteed thing for all employees. It's based on performance.
Questions? Ethna?
None now, Steve.
Okay. Denise? Denise? Kyle?
Nope.
David?
No,
Ethan?
All set.
Shelley?
I just want to say that we were under the impression that that money didn't get spent. That's all I have to say about.
Are you referring to the 15,000?
Yeah.
Yep. Can you respond to that, Rebecca? or Joe?
Don made the decision to not do valuations because COVID started. He was not in the office. So to be what he thought was fair was to split it evenly because it was an operations thing in regards to salary adjustment or merit increases. So.
Shelley?
So going forward, if reviews are on time, Joe, and they're done in December, the budget should be all set in referencing going forward merits and to be separate on a separate line item than the actual, I mean, I don't know how to do it to make sure that your request gets completed and then whatever the board decides to go for, I mean, if it's COLA, it's COLA. If we're going to keep the policy as the, excuse me, as the same. But I think we have to come to some kind of determination. So we're not waiting to the last of the hour to try to figure out where the money goes and stuff like that. But I just want us to be more on top of that. So our budgets are more in line of what we're looking at so we can dissect it a little bit better.
Cindy?
I think that,
Talking.
I missed it. Who?
I thought Ethan had spoken up. No.
I'm sorry.
I think, I'm sorry, I think that's the purpose of the salary survey and what Joe's trying to do in order to get this year going and coincide with policy, then all that will happen next year. I think that's what he's striving towards. That was my impression.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't hear you before, Ethan. Cindy?
Yeah, I think I think what makes it hard is that extra 97 cents an hour, which is, it's what John decided to do. It's just, it's challenging because it's not worked into this current year's budget. And I wish there was a way to fix that with the numbers. So we were dealing with real numbers, but if Joe, you're assuring us that these numbers in the manager column for 2022 are accurate with the 2.3 and the 97 cent addition that was added by the prior town manager. So
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
Got one thing there. I don't, probably ought to do it next year, but I don't have a problem with merit raises, but I'd want somebody to show me what somebody's done that, outstanding to, not just to hand them out, you know what I mean? If they made the town money or they worked real hard or whatever. So I don't have a problem with them, but it's my thinking. But I'd say do it next year and just get everything straightened out there.
Any other comments?
no, just that I support this approach that Joe's taking. So it's my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm. How do I say this tactfully? Yeah, I think we need to be careful of micromanaging the town manager, and where we get to authorize after sufficient discussion relative to merit. We have to trust his judgment on what his employees are doing. I think a nice dialogue respectful to that would be helpful, but in terms of micromanaging, I think we tread a dangerous line. I want to show support for the town manager. As I have said to him on numerous occasions, if I didn't think he could do the job, I'm going to ship him down the road. And I'm trying not to be disrespectful, but the bottom line is we got to have some trust in him. All right, I've said what I need to say. I need somebody to move us forward on this. 214,602. What's your pleasure?
Make a motion to accept whatever you came up with, whatever that number is.
On page 6, bottom right-hand column.
197. Make a motion to go over
No.
197,034.
Well, maybe I got the wrong page here.
No, you don't.
Okay, the number, Joe, is 214,602, $214,602.
All right, I'll go with that.
Second,
Any more discussion? Shelley, Cindy, Ethan, David? No? Ethan, how do you vote?
aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Shelley,
Hi.
David?
Aye.
Aye for me, 5-0. I forgot to ask the Budget Committee, I apologize. Do you have any more questions, Ethna or Denise?
No,
How do you vote?
yes,
Denise? Denise,
Yes.
is that a
Yeah.
yes vote? Thank you.
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Thank you. Assessing.
Hey, Steve, quick question.
Yes, sir.
Can we just verify that Mr. Haley has the most current budget sheet?
Are you looking at, on the top right-hand side of any of the pages, David? Is it 0226?
No, mine says on page 6, it says 1/29/2021.
Okay, there's a new set of documents that came with your packet for last Monday.
Oh, I probably got the wrong sheet.
Okay,
I'll go look in the other room, man. You guys can keep going.
I think Kyle's got one right in front of him.
Oh, yeah, he probably got one. Okay, yeah, keep going. I'm all set.
Okay. Joe, we'll move into assessing.
I think we already voted on assessing.
You
Yeah.
did.
Oh, I apologize. Yes, we did. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you. Next up is finance.
So,
On page 9.
thank you, Mr. Chair. On page 9, this is where I had, you can't see this, but in my document, it made the first note. So the same thing applies here in 0101 with the 97 cents per hour added into the 2.3. Comes out at 53,452. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rebecca, but that is not true in 0102 wages. That is only a 2.3% proposal.
That is correct.
Thank you. Rebecca, would you, this is the finance budget. Would you like to present this?
Do you guys have any questions on it? I know we reviewed it prior. There was no changes on it except for the 2.3%.
Any questions for Rebecca or Joe on finance, Cindy?
So just a comment for clarification. The reason the 97 cent an hour wage doesn't come into play to line 0102 under finance is simply the timing of her hire.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Ethan?
Also,
Shelley? You okay, Shelley? Yep.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. David, do you have any comments?
No, all set.
How about Denise or Ethna? Chime in whenever you're ready, either one of you.
I have more of a curiosity. Who is our current auditor and when was the last time we went out to bid for one?
Rebecca?
So we are going into our third year. We have, Ron Smith. So we would be going out to bid after this fiscal year.
That's what I thought. Thanks, Rebecca.
Kyle, any questions?
Nope.
Denise, do you have any questions?
I'm all set.
Okay. If we could get a motion, please, for the finance budget.
I'll make a motion that we approve the $149,506 for finance.
Second,
Thank you. How do you vote, Kyle? Excuse me, Ethan,
aye.
Cindy,
Aye.
Shelley,
Hi.
David?
Aye.
Aye for me. Ethna, how do you vote?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Denise? Denise?
Yes.
Thank you. Planning. Next up is
Steve?
planning.
Steve,
Yes.
can I just add with that question that Ethna had, about the, auditor? The increase in auditing, last year, and I think it was the year before, we have received a lot of federal grants. And when we receive over $750,000 in federal grants, we have to have not just our town audit, but we have to have a single audit. So, it has gone down a little bit this year, but we've also received quite a few, grants. So we just kind of want to play it safe on the cost because we might actually have to do another single audit due to the grants that all of our employees have worked hard to receive.
Thank you. Ethna, any more questions regarding that?
No, thank you.
Okay, appreciate it. Rebecca, planning.
So with planning, there actually has not been any changes in planning. We have kept the amount the same as prior for the pay. And the reason behind that is she's actually getting paid less than what is budgeted here. So what's in here would include a 2.3% increase, but it also would include any increases with her licensing as well.
So, Mr. Chairman, code enforcement officers have 12 months by statute to become trained and licensed or certified by the state. And to be an incentive for that, I've presented this amount, which is the same amount of what we budgeted this year, to encourage our CEO to pursue those certifications. That's 0101 and 0103 this year. Not to cut you off, Rebecca, but the part-time wage line has 21,216 in it. Our town code says that we shall, or I shall, appoint a part-time code enforcement officer. Later on in the budget process, Rebecca, remind me to show, or at least explain or identify to the folks the increase in revenue from building permits in this fiscal year. The code enforcement officers have been very busy, and it's one of, I hate to even say this, but it's true, it's one of the areas where we do not have any reasonable amount of redundancy or backup. So if somebody goes out sick or takes a vacation, that can cause a backlog. So Bailey and I are proposing to the board a part-time code enforcement officer or deputy code enforcement officer to work approximately 3 8-hour days a week.
This has been proposed to us in the past by Tom Lillis. I think it's certainly justified back then, but it certainly is much more so now. Any questions on the planning?
I actually had two really quick, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Rebecca stated that there were no changes. However, from my 129 report to my current one, there is an increase in the 3509 line and an increase in the 3528 line from the last report.
Ethna, thank you, because you know what I did? The install of the clock, I put in 0105 instead of 0106. So that 6,927 needs to be removed and added into town office.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yes, thank you, because I hit the wrong number.
There's just a few numbers in this whole thing. Any other questions? Cindy? Okay. Ethan? No? Shelley? No? David?
I'd like to pay Keith to do it, but he probably's got more than he wants to do right now. He'll be around for a while and not coming and going. That's just a thought. He's probably busy enough, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Little levity's always fun. Thank you, David. I didn't realize you were a comic on top of everything else. It's awesome. I need a motion. Any questions from Denise?
No.
Okay, and Kyle?
Nope.
All right. Is your hand up, Rebecca, or are you?
Yes, so the new number for planning would be 160,332. And I apologize for that.
$160,334.
332.
Okay. Thank you. I need a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept the planning line in the budget for $160,332.
Second it.
Any further discussion? Ethan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Aye for me. Ethna?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Thank you. Town clerk?
Steve,
Yes.
we're gonna have to re-vote on town office because we have to put in the time clock amount. The new amount's going to be 51,933.
Say again, please, for the new
Fif-
number.
51,933.
Questions on the number and the town office?
I'll move the revised amount of 51,933.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ethan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Steve is aye, 5-0. Ethna, how do you vote?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Denise?
Yeah.
Thank you. I have on my old business, excuse me, under my agenda, clerk. Joe, you want to, have we already done that within the other lines, or is there something?
No, we'll need to go through the clerk's budget.
All right, what page is that? Because it's not
Page 22, Mr. Chairman.
page 22.
Yep.
All right. Town clerk, go ahead, Joe.
So this line has, I believe, just a 2.3% increase. Hang on a second. There we go. Part-time wages are there. Those are the same as last year. I don't believe this one had a much other changes in it, or many other changes in it. Rebecca, do you agree with that?
No, I don't. No, I don't have any other changes. The one thing that I know that we discussed, Joe, was training costs. But with COVID and hopefully, like, I can't remember who it was, said that this all comes to an end. But a lot of the trainings are online and either free or less expensive. I know that we will be doing a lot of trainings. But I think that $1,200 should suffice because of the situation we're in right now.
I agree. Thank you.
Ethna?
No questions, Steve.
Okay, let me explain what happens on my screen. So if I call your name, it's not because I'm picking on you. Where your names are, if I see a yellow box, it indicates to me that some noise or you had said something. That's why I called on you. Cindy, do you have any questions on town clerk?
I don't.
Ethan?
No.
Shelley?
No,
David?
No,
Ethna?
No.
How about you, Denise?
No.
Kyle?
No,
Give me a motion for the number 77,302.
So
Mr.
moved.
Chairman, make a motion to accept the town clerk budget line at $77,302.
Second.
Moved and seconded. How do you vote, Ethan?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Shelley?
aye.
David?
aye,
Aye, 5-0. Ethna?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Kyle?
yes.
Thank you. Public safety. We'll start off with fire rescue.
page is that? Oh, yeah, I got it.
28. Fire rescue. Talk to us, Chief Bacon, about fire rescue. Any changes on,
The only changes from last week were the increase that Joe put in, the 2.29%, and there was a life insurance change on 0510. Life insurance went up $120.
which line?
0510.
Okay, I see it. Yep.
I think it should be page 28.
Yes.
Other than that, it's the same that was discussed.
Questions on fire rescue? Shelley?
So I have a question. I was on the budget committee last year, and I did not have anything where the budget committee approved a $15,563.18 raise.
All right, that did go through. That was, John Madigan was aware of that. Steve Philbrook was aware of that. There was a point where I was being recruited last year. It's still lower than the salary survey that, I'm forgetting the HR woman's name.
Annalee Rosenblatt.
Annalee ran a salary survey with us last year. And frankly, that was the price that we discussed or the cost that we discussed. And we did talk about it and we did vote on it.
Cindy?
Yeah, I wasn't aware of it either. I looked through, I mean, I did miss a meeting, May 4th. But we actually had two budget phases. So we, last year we were in the same phase at this time of year. And there was no discussion, about a salary survey, about anything with the board. And the salary line looked like it did previously. I think it was 53 and change for the to reflect the increase. And it got as far as it was ready to go to a draft warrant, and then everything put on pause, everything got pushed out, and we started meeting again in late April. And I didn't see anything in our minutes that this was publicly discussed or disclosed or anything. So Steve, what is this about? Steve Philbrick?
Well, Steve Philbrick just got put on the hot seat one more time, but it was publicly discussed. I was certainly not the only one, and you won't find my signature on it like the other mistake that I made. But we did talk about this. I didn't go through the minutes, so I'm going to trust you on that. But
Yeah, and if we're going to talk about it further, maybe it should be an executive session because
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I have to say that this might not be the best spot for it.
Steve, if I can add something,
who's speaking? I can't see if it.
Rebecca.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, so I was asked to put this into the budget. Yes, John knew about it. And it doesn't go in the warrant unless the Board of Selectmen vote on it. So if you guys didn't discuss it, then that's whatever happened in the meeting, but it was brought to you for a vote for this total to go into the warrant.
You know when that was, so I can go back and
I
look too.
don't have the date. I do not have the date, but it was brought forth to the Board of Selectmen and the Budget Committee for a vote.
Cindy, I want to just remember I had said, I don't remember whether it was yesterday or last week, but Annalee did a survey and nobody had recollection of it. I do remember her doing one for us, and I suspect that's what this was all about. But let's go back. You want to talk about this in executive session, folks?
Yep. Yes.
I would like to, can I just interject something? Just
we
really
talk?
quick. It's Ethna, and it's just a clarifying thing, but that number was not brought to the budget committee. As a budget committee member, the number we were given was that 53,486.
Okay, thank you.
And I find it interesting that Annalee was good enough for a survey study then, but now we're saying we don't know if we'll use her this time.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on then to police department. Where's the chief? There you are. Chief, you're on mute. There you
All right,
are.
how about now?
Yep, good, perfect.
It must time out or do something. I haven't touched a thing on this and I was in earlier, but so with the police budget, nothing's changed since the last presentation, other than the town manager putting in the 2.3%. And the bottom line is that still brings us in almost 3% less than last year's budget.
Questions? Ethan?
No,
Cindy?
Oh, I'm all set.
Shelley?
Oh, I just had something to add to, so I asked my husband about the tasers. And there's actually, they do a, let's see, by the way, I think the company also does a taser body cameras also. Not sure, but they can do the same thing with those. On the tasers, the cameras are updated every 2.5 years, tasers every 5 years. So it's a website that you can actually go on. And the county right now pays $2,464.65 per year. And they maintain 15 tasers, and use and they give them one spare just in case one goes down. The repairs are covered. And if one goes down, they will either fix or replace it with no charge.
Okay, that could be something to look at, but what could you, I'm sorry, I was, by the time I
That's okay.
started writing things down, how long was the life expectancy your husband's giving on the tasers and the cameras, please?
Okay, so the cameras are updated every 2.5 years,
2.5.
and then the tasers every 5 years. And it's taser assurance, and there's an application that you can complete online. But he said that that's how they save their money, so it's not one lump sum each time they have to replace them.
Okay.
But I found that out. I forgot to tell you, sorry. We go back to your budget.
What was that, Shelley?
We can go back to the budget part. Sorry, I just wanted to add that because the tasers was on the capital for the reserves.
Super. Relative to the police budget, any questions, David?
No, I'm happy. I've been doing a good job. I haven't heard a complaint in 2 or 3 years. It's hard to believe. Doing a good job. We gotta be.
Good, yeah. Ethna, any comments, questions?
No, Steve.
Kyle?
Nope.
Denise?
No.
Okay. Police Department budget, 288,331. Need a motion.
So
Make a
moved.
motion, we approve
Cindy?
the. Cindy, you
Move.
say so move way too fast.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
she's quick.
Ethan, you-
She's
it's
quick
yours,
on it,
You
Ethan.
go.
You gotta say it like this, so move, so I could jump in there.
Ethan, is that a second?
Absolutely.
Okay. How do you vote, Ethan?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Shelley?
Hi.
David?
Aye.
Aye for me, 5-0. Ethna?
Yes.
Denise?
Yeah.
Kyle?
Yes.
Thank you. Public Works. Highway. I'm guessing this is all Keith from the,
Yes, yes.
Can I ask a question?
yes, Shelley.
On page 45 with the health officer, there is no increase. If they're paid wages, do they get the 2.3 as well?
Go ahead, Joe.
I believe this was, used to be a volunteer position.
This
So
is right.
there's actually so there is some money being paid right now currently in this year's budget, but it started kind of halfway through. So it's kind of looked at as a new position. So we didn't plug in 2.3, but we certainly could if the board would like that to happen.
What's your pleasure? Cindy?
The only public discussion the board had last year had to do with a stipend. An undecided amount. I don't think we've never moved an amount in a meeting for the
No,
health officer.
This is brand new.
And typically someone who doesn't, who doesn't have regular hours, office hours or whatnot, it's, typically a stipend.
Shelley, you had a comment?
Well, that's what I was going to ask too. What is the difference between how we categorize what is wages and what is actually considered a stipend?
Go ahead, Joe.
So stipends typically are an amount of money, not quite a salary, but it's amount of money for a year's worth of service. The Fair Labor Standards Act requires us or compels us to pay this weekly. And then because of our paid time off provision in our personnel policy, we also need to provide paid time off. And the best way to calculate that is if it's a weekly amount. But it's really the meat and potatoes of it is the Fair Labor Standards Act.
Rebecca, you had your hand up?
I was just gonna say the Fair Labor Standards Act only say that certain positions within a municipality are actually considered a stipend position. We had to go through and change some of the pay, how we pay people, because they were set up as a stipend, and they should have been done as an hourly rate.
Cindy?
Didn't that have to do with existing employees, that existing employees needed to, if they had a committee appointment or board appointment, that they had to be paid, or their stipends had to be worked into the hourly wage?
That was just for overtime for employees.
Okay, what do you want to do with the health department then? Excuse me, health officer.
Where's the money coming out of?
This is a new budgetary item.
So it's just its own.
Didn't Chief
Department.
Bacon talk about this before about it immediately was coming out of the fire department, but now it has, where's it coming from now?
We took the money out of the fire department this year for the interim.
Right.
That's where the money came out of this year. The stipend was in the budget last year.
No, it wasn't, Steve.
I think
There's
that's what he
nothing in
explained
last-
last week. Is that incorrect?
If you look at your budget report, there is no
Yep.
money in it for last year.
It came out of the fire department. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't say that right. It was out of the fire department budget last year,
Yes.
Yeah,
as
it's-
well
it
as
can't-
the interim stipend this year. Is that correct, Mike? Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so it can't come out of the fire department budget because that's a regional budget, isn't it? The
Go ahead,
plan,
Mike.
So Cindy is correct, but with COVID, we were looking for the funds that, the town didn't have it for at that time. We needed the public health officer because of everything that was going around or going on. So we did take it out of the fire department. It was at the time, I believe the town had discussed as doing it as a stipend, but breaking the stipend up over a week, I think that's, a weekly stipend. That's just how it broke down.
Okay. Am I here? Is what I'm hearing opposition to creating a line item budget for the health officer?
No, it's just clarification on, just that it can't come out of the fire department budget like it had been. And
Okay.
it's when the board of, the one meeting we discussed it, it was a stipend. And now it's something different. So it's just understanding everything, the mechanics and whatnot, and why there are different classifications. That's all, because it costs, it all adds up, all costs money.
Certainly does. Yep. Rebecca?
If you do the 2.3%, I have that number. But if I'm allowed to give my 2 cents, I sit in that office daily, and the health officer currently with the situation with COVID is putting in so many hours and taking so many phone calls and so many emails as everybody can expect, that, maybe the board can look at, because it'd be $2,660. It'd just only be a $60 increase of the 2.3%. And the FICA would change to $204.
So what's the bottom line number total? You've got your calculator.
Sorry, I didn't add that up. To
3864.
oh, it's gonna be $3,809.69.
3869, Rebecca,
Yeah,
even.
Okay, we could leave that alone for now because that falls within the public safety and the fire department.
It's its own department. It's under public safety, but it's not within the fire department.
Correct, I'm sorry, correct.
So we can vote,
Yeah,
we can
we
vote
could.
on that if folks are ready.
So for the health officer, $3,869 is where we're at,
Mr. Chair, if I could just add a note.
please.
Not to slow your momentum, but this would be a second vote on this item, 01506. You approved it on February 22nd.
Thank you.
No.
We did vote on the other one.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't realize we had.
No, my
Oh, it's
intent was not to stop you. It was just to let you know this would be a second vote
Oh.
for the record.
Thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Shelley,
Is it a second vote or are we just amending our other one to increase the amount?
you can amend it. We haven't taken a motion on this yet, so. So amend it to include the 2.3, and then you'll have your numbers. What's your pleasure?
Make a motion to approve the health officer line in the amount of $3,869.
Second,
Any more discussion? Ethna,
No discussion.
Denise? Kyle?
I'm all set.
Okay, Kyle?
Yep, I'm all set.
Okay, Ethan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
David? I saw you speak, David, but you're on mute. That's aye for me, 5-0. Ethna?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes,
Thank you. We go to highway? I'm looking for my crew there. Where are you? There you go. Page
All right,
46 for the highway.
Sorry, I had
Questions for Keith on highway. Any changes, Keith, that you want to highlight for us?
there's nothing since the last presentation. So
Okay.
I can tell you the big difference in that budget, just to reestablish that. The largest difference in that budget is the $12,500 maintenance plan with Nortrax for the loader.
What line?
Yeah, sorry, it's page 50, line 3529.
Questions for Keith? Any questions, Shelley?
No.
Cindy?
I don't think so. I'm just kind of checking through to see if I have any notes.
Okay. David?
How much was that amount for Nortrax for the service or whatever?
Yeah, it's 12,500 for a 3-year service contract, or 3 years, 3,000 miles, excuse me. So hours, 3,000 hours. For
Okay,
every 1,000 hours, they come do the major overhaul, software, all the fluid changes, etc.
perfect. Yeah, okay.
Ethna, any questions?
No,
Denise?
No.
Kyle?
Nope.
Okay. I'm coming back to you, Cindy.
I'm not seeing any questions that haven't been answered, so thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, call for a vote. Let's go to the numbers. 723, 432. Need a motion.
Motion to approve 723, 432 for the highway department.
Second it.
David, thank you. Shelley, how do you vote?
Sorry.
Cindy?
Aye.
Ethan?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Aye for me, 5-0. Ethna?
yes.
Thank you. Denise?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Thank you. Sewer. Sanitary sewer, pardon me. Somehow that seems to be an oxymoron to me when you say sanitary sewer.
We have the cleanest water in the town.
That's
If you ever gone
disgusting.
by those snowbanks in July and you're gonna tell me that's clean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Any questions for sanitary sewer, starting page 52? Changes, Keith?
Biggest thing, the budget is overall down. The biggest changes would be in line 1511, minor equipment on page 54. We increased that by $2,500 to split the large format printer with a code enforcement officer so we can scan and print plans as needed. And then the second item for the reduction would be the payoff on the 2017 Ford F-250.
Okay. Questions for Keith on sanitary sewer? Ethan?
All set.
Cindy?
I think I'm all set.
Shelley?
That,
Okay. David?
Yeah, does the sewer department mow the airport? I can't remember.
Correct.
Do they bill the airport or how does that work?
Not currently, no. We keep track of the hours. The agreement right now is there are some maintenance costs that gets absorbed if needed through the town through the airport, but time, the 2 weeks it takes us or 2.5 weeks it takes us is not billed out per time through that department currently.
Any other questions, David? Okay. Ethna, any questions?
No,
Denise? Kyle?
Nope.
All right. I need a motion for 514,406 sanitary sewer.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Shelley?
aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Ethan?
Aye.
David? David, come on mute so I can hear you. All right, give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Aye for me. Ethna?
Yes.
Denise?
Yeah.
Kyle?
Yes.
Thank you. Bless you. Solid waste.
So can
Yes, Shelley?
I just ask a question in regards to the capital improvement for this in the sewer reserve? Keith, what do you have that's coming up in that? Is
We'll
that
go to
money being
capital?
paid to- Yeah,
Can we move on? Because remember, I've got to go.
okay.
Yeah, we can do capital after. If this is germane to what's coming up next, go ahead, Shelley, but
No, I was just wondering what, we keep putting extra money in that account for each time.
So I will tell you, the brief answer on that one real quick is, with any kind of grant process or expansion needs growth of the sewer department, DEP strongly suggests that you have that percentage match or a large reserve yourself so that when those DEP grants comes available, that they'll actually you stand a better chance for funding.
Is that why we're banking up that money right now?
That's the biggest reason. I will tell you again, short version is there will be needs, not necessarily in storage, but in discharge. And I'm working with Jeff Preble, and I'll keep you guys posted as we go along with the SRF funds for the funding this year to get a new capital infrastructure study done, and then a rate study and everything else will be involved in that. So we'll have a better understanding as the year goes on.
okay. Transfer station, solid waste. Any changes, Keith?
All right, so that budget is up about $22,000. To reiterate from last time, that budget, a lot of that is to do with, or all of it's to do with transportation and cost of handling, processing of that MSW, recycling, and everything, all those rest of the commodities. I will tell you, the most recent pay slips for our steel, that has risen significantly in revenue. I think from $60 a ton up to about $100 a ton right now. So that doesn't complete budget, but it's nice revenue coming in. Done a lot of reading in regards to transfer station and magazines, and lately dealing with new PFAS requirements and trending rates. So I'm not very optimistic in this budget decreasing over the years to come.
Okay, questions for Keith? Ethan?
All set.
Cindy?
I'm all set as well.
Shelley?
All set.
David? Good? Ethna?
All set.
Kyle?
All set.
Denise?
All set.
Thank you. Okay, I need a motion for solid waste 402-398.
Make a motion that we approve the budgeted amount for solid waste transfer station in the amount of $402,398.
Second.
Who was that? Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Thank you. Denise, I think we just caught you. Okay, Shelley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Ethan?
Aye.
David? Thumbs up, thank you. Aye for me. For the budget committee, we'll start differently here. Kyle?
Yes.
Thank you. Cindy? Yeah, Ethna?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Thank you. Joe, airport.
I think we already voted on it.
Let me double check.
Yeah, we voted on it. There's a change though, I think, on,
Okay,
My notes say it was, the minutes say that it was tabled.
okay.
02404, 02004.
oh, we did table it, Cindy. We were going to be appointing a new airport manager.
That's right.
Any questions for the new airport manager? Because we have the outgoing one on the screen too.
And Mr. Chairman, Mike, Chief Bacon deserves the credit for working with Rebecca to build this budget, by the way. I did review it with them, but they put the work into it, so.
Thank you. Any questions for, any questions for the airport?
I'd like to thank Chief Bacon for getting that 20,000 from the government for those tires.
Good job. Okay, no questions from anybody? Ethna, Denise, Kyle, you all set? All right,
I'm all set.
thank you.
All
I need
set.
a motion for 41,941.
Make a motion, we approve $41,941 for the airport budget.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Shelley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
Ethan?
aye.
David?
Aye.
Thank you. Aye for me. 5-0. Ethna?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
And Denise?
Yes.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation.
Oh,
Denise, are you okay? Denise? She sounded like she got hurt. I'm going to call an ambulance, Denise. Answer me.
I'm okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
No,
I'm
thank you.
just old.
Parks and Recreation. Keith, you want to fill us in of any changes, if there are any?
It's down $600. There isn't any significant change.
What line did you say was changed?
Overall, it's down $600. It's at $100 here, $100 there.
Okay. Any questions for Keith on Parks and Rec? Start off with Ethan,
No question.
Cindy? Okay. Shelley,
No.
David,
No, all set.
Ethna,
All set.
Kyle,
All set.
Denise?
All set.
Thank you. Give me a motion, please, for Parks and Recreation for 224,558.
Make a motion to approve the Parks and Rec budget in the amount of 224,558.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Shelley, how do you vote?
Aye.
Cindy? Cindy, you're muted, but I think you said aye. Okay, thank you. Ethan?
Aye.
Yep. David?
Aye.
Aye for me. 5-0. Ethna?
Yes.
Thank you. Kyle?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Thank you. Public Safety Director. Public Services Director, whichever. That's page 75, right, Joe?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
This account, like other non-union employees, has the same configuration, 2.3, which is COLA plus 1%. All in all, it's up primarily, by that amount. It's roughly $3,000 or so, $2,400,
Okay.
$2,800.
Questions for Joe? Okay, I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve 109,554 for Public Works, Public Services Director.
Need a second?
Second.
Second,
Okay. Ethan, how do you vote?
aye.
Cindy? Thank you. Shelley?
Aye.
David?
Aye.
Aye for me, 5-0. Denise?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Ethna?
Yes.
Thank you. Transfers out, reserve, and health ride.
Yes.
Rebecca?
Yes,
Funny girl. Want to comment on any of this?
Yeah,
On the-
I'm not on mute.
on the health rep,
Denise, go to mute. There you go. On the health, it says here, transfers out, reserve, and health ride.
Page 88.
the only comment is, we took out, the 30,000 from general reserve. And you guys already know that we took out the 25,000 from the economic reserve, because looking at combining that. So for the union negotiations, I discussed with Joe about using that money, because the airport project's getting ready to be completely closed out. And using that money that's in the airport reserve, moving it over to the general reserve to cover any cost for possible increases.
Thank you. Joe, any comments?
No, Mr. Chairman, she summed it up perfectly.
All right. Anything from the board? Ethan?
All set.
Cindy?
All set.
Kelly?
I think I'd like us to relook at that, the loan that we have out there for the construction. For the 3.5. I noticed it's a 10-year term. I mean, I look at that amount and I think that that's really a lot to have to raise each year. I mean, I remember the voters being upset to pay that price for an excavator. And I know the interest will be more, but it just seems over time. But it just seems that if we're trying to keep our mill rate down so we don't have a lot of ups and downs with our taxes with all of our increased costs, I'm just wondering if there's something could be done on that to reduce that, because we're gonna have the other costs coming up with broadband and other projects as well. That's the ones that I foresee right up front.
If I can, Steve.
Certainly, go ahead.
So with Joe and the bond council and Franklin Savings Bank, we went through and through this new bond and the refinance. We looked at doing it together. We looked at doing it separate. We went all avenues. This is the best option in regards to cost savings. Joe can probably add to that.
Go ahead, Joe.
We did review that. As I recall, we had the bank representative come to the meeting and explain that. It was advantageous to do it this way, the way we set the loans up. Not to say that we wouldn't look at it again, but I'm pretty comfortable with the configuration we have now. One of the things that we can look at, Mr. Chairman, in talking with Rebecca, the reserves and the airport reserve specifically, if we had a little more time, we might be able to put something together to possibly offset some of these items all the way in the right-hand column. We don't have anything prepared tonight, but it sounds like we're going to be coming back for another meeting. So if the board has any interest in that, we'd be happy to entertain it. It may be a way to, and this ties to the loan. I'm not trying to get away from the loan comment. It may be a way for us to bring the overall percentage down to more of an average increase. I think our average increase annually overall is 2.5 or 3%-ish. So there's a way that we can present a proposal to you using the airport reserve funds, possibly to offset some of these raise and appropriate items in the right-hand column here. If you're interested in that, we'd be happy to bring that back to you.
Okay, that's a good conversation to have. I think, I'm sorry,
Can I add one thing?
go ahead.
So in the discussion in regards to the refinance on the road loans, we could have gone down and spread out the years again, but we chose to keep the current payment. And in the end, it would save I can't remember the amount that it would save the town, but it would save the taxpayers and just a lot of money to keep the payment the way it is. So it's a lower interest rate, but the payment's going to remain the same.
Okay, relative to the transfers out, reserve and health ride. What is Cindy? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think Joe Roach has got a great idea and we should take him up on it and discuss that down the road when he's ready.
Right. Right. Glad you brought it all up. Let's see if we can take care of the transfers out aspect. What's your feelings on this page? Pages, pardon me.
I lost my place.
Page 88 and
Thank
89.
you. I think that's what Joe, that's what our town manager had been talking about, Steve, is revisiting this and maybe having some offsets so that it doesn't have to be raised by taxation. So
Well,
to table it for the
my
next.
apologies. I understood it a little differently, but okay, we'll table it till the next one. I'm fine with that. New business, electricity credits from our solar program. Joe?
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to touch on this briefly after several discussions with Rebecca, our finance director, and Keith, actually, and Tracy. We talked about this. We've left, because the credits are not appearing yet on our CMP bills, we've left the electricity amounts in a very conservative fashion, basically based on this year, so that we can get a good read on how the program unfolds. So I just wanted everybody to be aware of that going forward. And how it works is, we just very briefly, the credit, when it does appear, will appear on our Central Maine Power bill. And then we actually have to pay out revision. So there'll be some accounting that takes place there. Just kind of, once it starts happening, I want to make sure that folks have time to get acquainted with it. And I want to make sure that we leave enough money in the budget, which we've done, for electricity for this year while the program kind of gets up and running. So I just wanted to touch on that very quickly in case anybody had any questions or thoughts about that.
Okay. If it's all the same to everyone here, we've gone through the majority tonight. We have some more work to do on a number of different fronts. We could schedule another meeting instead of trying to wrap it up tonight. I don't think we'll make it by any stretch. Everybody amenable to that?
I am.
Okay. I'm seeing some head shakes. Before we go any farther, Ethna and Kyle and Denise, call each other, come up with a chairman for our next meeting so we can get the proper payments to whoever. And then Joe can have a conversation, which whoever you vote for is chair. Keep everybody apprised. I should have done this sooner. Escaped me.
Will do.
Next date, Joe, you got some suggestions? Rebecca, Cindy, Shelley, David, Ethan?
Next Tuesday
Is
is
this Thursday?
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
sorry about that. Next Tuesday is town meeting, so I would not recommend that. special town meeting. Rebecca, did you say this Thursday?
Yeah, this Thursday. I think the only thing we have left is the transfer us out, isn't it?
No. No,
What
we
else
got
do
the
we
fire
have?
budget to finish.
Right. And then Chief would like to present to all of you, all of us, options for replacement of engine 3. And just a quick brief of revenues. So, and then finish fire and rescue, fire and safety, like Steve had mentioned. So probably can get through that in one meeting, I would think.
So let me go back. There was no vote on the total amount for the fire rescue budget
That's
tonight?
correct.
Correct.
No vote on the transfer outs, and we haven't finished with capital or revenues. So what's the date? Wednesday and Thursday are out for me this week. I apologize. I have things to do. Monday?
Good for
Monday,
me.
do you want to do the executive session on the same night or? what do you
Yes.
wanna do?
Yes.
Okay,
We'll start with the executive session if it's okay with all of you. And then we'll move into the budget meeting. Is that good for you, Joe?
It is. What
Cindy,
time
are
would-
you good with that?
For Monday, the 8th, I'm sorry, my
No,
dog
no,
is-
the format, Cindy, are you good with an executive session first and then? Yep. How about you, Ethan?
Yeah, that's fine.
David?
Yes,
Okay, good. All right, what's the date? I suggested the 8th. What's your pleasure?
works for me.
Shelley?
yes,
Ethan?
Yeah.
David?
yes,
Ethna?
Yes, it works for me.
Denise?
Yeah.
Kyle?
Yes.
Ada, we'll start at 6 o'clock on Monday, the 8th.
Can I make a request really quick, Steve?
Sure.
I don't know if anybody else on the budget committee got them, but I didn't get minutes. So is
I
there
did.
any way, is there any way we can get minutes when we get the agendas?
No. Okay.
Yes, we'll get you whatever's ready and available, we'll send out to you. I'm sorry that you didn't get them last time. I apologize.
No, that's okay. I just wanted to point it out. Thank you.
I haven't done minutes because they haven't actually voted on chair, vice chair. So I have actually all that together and I can send that off to them, but I was waiting on that vote.
Oh, no, sorry, Rebecca. I meant minutes for the meetings that we've been holding. So each of the minutes that would indicate what we had and hadn't voted on for each of these meetings we've been holding.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, for the budget committee, I do the budget committee meeting minutes. I just didn't do it because I was waiting on that vote to show
Okay.
who's chair. And
Perfect.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're good with the 8th? Good. I need a motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. Shelley had her hand up.
yep. So, I noticed that we've got revenue income now listed, or is that something that we're gonna go over that as a group together?
My plan, Mr. Chair, was to give an overview of revenues, just so everybody was familiar with that portion of the budget.
Sounds good.
Okay, so one more question. When can we start making money on renting space off the tower that's at the town office?
Don't know the answer to that question. I can find out for you and get back to you. Keith looks like he knows the answer, but it looks like the chair is.
Can I speak to that or no?
Let's wait for the chair to acknowledge us.
Okay.
I don't know if he can hear us. He doesn't, I don't know. let's wait.
Yeah, he has the headset's not on, so he can't hear us.
Okay, Madam Chair, I believe he has relinquished the meeting to you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Keith, if you've got something you can shed some light on, by all means.
I will do my best. So my understanding through conversations with to the contract and with Brian Ross, that technically leasing space on the tower won't generate any more revenue for the town. It actually, what it does is it ends up splitting any lessor that decides to come on that tower would only split the cost with Verizon. Or if they as a half, anything, it would just relinquish Verizon's cost, is my understanding.
Does it have a term when that runs out?
I think, so we have a 5-year term, and Verizon has, if I recall correctly, it's a 5-year term up front. With Verizon has 2 terms at their will, and then it goes to, I think the town has a 4th at that time, an option, and then I think after 20 years, then we can make our own arrangements.
Do we get discounts off the phones, cell phones?
No, so actually, the unfortunate part with that, if it was negotiated different, possibly you could have. Right now, the actual Verizon cell phone or communications is different than the tower systems. They're different entities, so they don't often work with that discounted price unless you communicate with both upfront.
Thank you. I thought there was more income opportunity.
Not 20 years from now, absolutely, but right now, unfortunately, no.
Any other follow-up questions for Keith before we adjourn? Any last comments? Going once? Going twice? And motion to adjourn. Do I have one?
So moved.
And a second.
Okay.
Shelley's motion, David's second. All in favor?
Aye.
Shelley, aye. David, aye. Ethan has left the building, and aye. Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.